And we are continuing our domestic violence special. As many of you all know, it crosses every racial, gender, and economic line, but it knows no age boundaries. Some local and national organizations are raising awareness about abuse in the young population in hopes of breaking the cycle before it's too late.
I kind of just came up here to play basketball, and they introduced it to me, so I figured why not try it out.
14-year-old Emmanuel Jameson wasn't the only one of his peers who simply came out to the Oakcrest Community Center for a typical night of recreational fun. But soon, he and others were encouraged to attend the Capitol Heights Police Department Teen Violence Summit. The event brought in a room full of parents and children as abuse survivors spoke about the importance of healthy relationships.
Domestic violence program we started 2 years ago. We go into our area schools and we talk to the kids about how to have safe relationships and see the signs of bad relationships up front. We have to break the cycle, so we start as low as possible with the grades. We try to teach them how to interact with each other, how to keep their hands to themselves, how to respect each other as individuals.
In general, teens understand what domestic violence is.
Domestic violence to me is when you have a relationship and somebody in the relationship is getting beaten on or treated wrong and they can't get out.
But some are unaware of how massive the problem is for young people.
It can affect children, but it morely happens with adults.
A lot of times people don't understand that our youth are being, abused. They don't feel that they can talk to even their parents, let alone adults, counselors, teachers, and then they talk amongst their peers. But that's not getting the best advice. For the most part, it's like the supporting cast to an actor and an actress.
The fact is, 1 in 3 young people between the ages of 12 and 24 will experience dating abuse, exceeding the adult statistics. Lynn Twyman is a domestic violence counselor. She says more education on the subject needs to be taken into the classroom.
When we go to school, we learn about math, science, history, English, but we're not necessarily being taught on a regular basis about healthy relationships, how to effectively communicate. What does controlling behavior look like?
Unfortunately, for some adolescents, domestic violence is not a foreign topic.
You'd be surprised. A lot of them have stories to tell about what they've seen and what they've experienced themselves, because sometimes it's learned behavior to see it inside their own households. They're not sheltered. They know exactly what's going on in their homes and in their community, and they want help. They want ideas. Some of the stories we heard from some of these young kids is amazing how they started these relationships so early. That's why we're trying to go to a middle school, because they have these relationships, and we need to let them know how to have healthy relationships.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
Have you started dating already?
Yes.
Okay. And so tell me about your relationship and how do you treat the special person in your life?
Well, we recently started dating, so the first thing I did, we went out, got something to eat, went to go see a movie.
Calissa Jacobs is the senior director of Break the Cycle, the national organization that brings awareness of youth dating violence.
We believe that the age of 12 is about the point where you start really transitioning between I have a good friend and they're very interesting to me, to you start having romantic feelings for them. And usually at about that time is the point where the romantic feelings can turn unhealthy if they're not carefully worked with and coached around how to have healthy interactions. We go all the way up until 24 because there's some new brain development research that's out there that says young people are still developing the core pieces of the brain functioning and development activities up until the age of 24.
Jacobs says young people may experience more cyber abuse than adults, but otherwise the signs are the same.
It looks about the same, actually, as a person who's in their 20s. If it was something like cigarettes, and some statistic came out that said 1 in 3 young people are dying from cigarette abuse, the whole nation would be up in arms about it. And so we want the country to really be talking about this as a health-related issue, because that's what it is. There's long-term dramatic health impact from being abused and surviving abuse. Most people who are survivors or victims of abuse just want the abuse to stop. That's the #1 thing they want.
Stay tuned later this week as we wrap up our coverage on domestic violence.